Is the presentation visible? Is my screen visible?
No, sir, it's not visible.
Not visible. Somebody said visible.
Yes, sir, it is now visible.
Okay. Now it is visible. Slides are visible now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, myself, Dr. Chintala, mainly working on the transportation domain. Being a faculty member in the transportation domain, we do work for the transportation of different sectors. So let me give a brief details about the transportation, and then we will enter into the fuels discussion, fuels required for the 21st century. Transportation modes, as you all aware that in energy consumption in different sectors, in various sectors, in different countries, we observe that here about 33 percentage or around 30 percentage of energy sector is being consumed by the transportation domain, transportation sector. Particularly, if you observe in India, it is about 22 percentage of the energy. As you all aware that for performing any activity, we need energy. Even for speaking, for discussing, for doing all our human activities, we need to spend energy. So I could say in the universe, without energy, nothing is being created. Without energy, nothing is being operated. For operation of any system, we need certain kind of energy. It may be conventional energy, it may be external provided, or it may be inherent energy that is lying inside any material or any components. And let me assure you that any material, even if you take any atom that consists of certain kind of energy, as you are going through the thermodynamics, you heard about the internal energy. So every matter, every substance, every atom is consisting of energy. So for operation of any system, not only transportation systems and other systems, even in medical or any, even for human being also, we need energy. So the energy, without energy, there is no life. Without energy, there is no life. Life is closely surrounded with the energy. In this energy domain, about 22 percentage, 22 to 25 percentage of the energy is being consumed in transportation sector. So immediately, if I speak about the transportation or transportation sector, what comes into your mind? What comes into your mind? Just I'm asking a question. You can respond. If I say a term, transportation sector, immediately what comes into your mind? I hope participants can enable and then they can speak.
So transporting of goods and material from one place to another.
Okay, very good. Transfer of goods and materials. Okay, very good. Still, any other perspective?
Sir, fuel used for transportation.
You can unmute yourself.
Huh? Yes. Go ahead.
Fuel used for
Okay.
transportation. The fuels like petrol,
Okay,
diesel,
very good.
etc.
Fuel used for transportation, petrol and diesel. Very good.
Um, it is one important sector in which the economy that deals with the movement of people and product with respectively.
Very good, excellent. So, movement of products or goods as well as people, products and people, or technically we say passenger transportation as well as freight transportation. So, for all this transportation, we need energy. If any sector is consuming more amount of energy, definitely you need to give prime importance for the development of the sector. Definitely you need to focus much time. So as you all aware, as I asked, transportation immediately, maybe you are thinking about only road transportation, the vehicles, cars, motorcycles, mopeds, and mobile transportation, trucks, lorries, trucks, these are all road transportation modes. So in your mind, immediately transportation means you may think only that kind of, you may get the picture of road transportation. Let me say not only road transportation, we do have other kinds of transportation as you are aware, as some of you mentioned right now. For transportation, we broadly classified into two categories. One is passenger segment, another one is freight segment. As I said, passenger and products. Passenger movement, people movement, or product movement, or goods movement. Again, in passenger, as you all say, land mode, water transportation mode, air transportation mode, pipeline transportation mode. If any petrol has to be transferred, or any gas, natural gas has to be transported from Gujarat to another, Hyderabad, from Gujarat to Delhi, or from Gujarat to from one place to from where the resources are available, maybe those resources can be transported. So these kind of liquid fuels and gaseous fuels can be transported via pipeline, even air mode, water mode, land mode. The selection of particular transportation mode depends upon various parameters, depending upon the cost of the transportation, depending upon the nature of the goods, depending upon the people's time availability, depending upon the distance, depending upon the number of times you need to be transported or you need to be traveled. So based on various criteria, usually we do decide that air transportation mode is okay for me, or train transportation, rail transportation is okay. Now, as I said, mainly three transportation modes we do use for passenger as well as products transportation: road transportation, rail transportation, air transportation, and water transportation. Yeah. Out of this four transportation modes, which one would be lower cost as per your estimation? Which transport mode would
Railway
be lower?
transportation.
Pardon?
Railway transportation.
Pardon?
Railway transportation.
Okay, railway transportation. Very good. Railway transportation is cheaper for people as well as freight.
Yes, sir.
Only for people.
Yes, sir. Only.
Okay. Still any other idea? Any other idea? Which transportation mode is cheaper?
Sir, railway for freight as well as the people.
Okay. What about water transportation?
For product
It is very
transportation, water
costly.
transportation is very good.
For product goods.
For product goods for international purpose, water is transportation is the best one.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. So various parameters that we need to consider depending upon the distance, depending upon the weight or volume of the goods, the transportation mode can be selected. If you see this graph, I think pointer is visible to you. My pointer.
Yes, sir.
Pointer is visible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is visible. Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you see this graph, top one, where air transportation is high cost, usually being used for carrying lower amount of or lower weight or lower volumes of the goods, lower volumes of the good. In this, time taken for transportation is almost negligible as I compare to the road or as I compare to the other water transportation mode. So if I give my priority to the time, time is the most priority. I don't bother about the cost, then definitely I would go with the air transportation mode. Cost is the main criteria. I cannot spend much amount, but I need to, time is not at all bothering about me. Whatever may be time, it may be days or it may be months, it may take, but I need to transport my goods with less cost. Then definitely I would select the water transportation, maritime water transportation. If my volume of goods is little larger, then I can select the road transportation. Road transportation may be truck. If the goods quantity is high, volume or weight of the goods is high, definitely I go with the rail. The cost is obviously ship is lesser than all other transportation mode. If you want to transport heavy amount of goods at lower cost, usually water transportation is being preferred. After water transportation, next cheaper is rail transportation. It is both for people as well as the freight, as well as the goods. Next, road transportation. Not only cost, time, other parameters also we need to consider depending upon the materials configuration, materials nature. If some products are being spoiled within less time, then you need to transport rapid. For that, you need to select another kind of transportation mode. Anyway, our intention is not to focus much time here. As I said, cheaper is water transportation, 1.19 rupees for waterways. For the same goods, for the same weight, if you want to transport with the road, it consumes about 2.28 rupees. The load carrying capacity also heavy in case of water transportation. It is 65% by road and 0.5% by waterways. This is the total weight freight transportation modes as per the Indian context. In the same way, if I want not only my transportation mode efficiency, I need to check. I also need to aware about the environment. I need to have my focus on the pollution side. If I transport the goods, for transporting goods, if I use 1 liter of petrol or diesel, definitely 24 tons of road, 24 tons of weight can be transported. If I use the same petrol, 1 liter of petrol or diesel, then I can carry more amount of weight in water transportation mode. So this is the just glimpses that I have given for the main idea. Whenever you think about the fuel development or fuel for any mode, you need to keep all other kinds of transportation modes, not only road transportation, other transportation modes like rail transportation as well as air transportation, water transportation modes, you need to keep in your mind. And accordingly, we need to go for the developments of new kinds of fuels and the efficiency enhancement. Now let us move into our main focus of fuels for 21st century transportation. So let me get a brief idea that what you have in your mind related to the fuel. What do you think about the fuel? What is a fuel? What is a fuel?
Material that can be burned to produce heat or power.
Material that can be burned. Okay, very good. Which is useful for energy production. Okay. Yes.
Fuel can be a source of
Source of
energy.
energy. Yeah, very good. Source of energy. Very good. Still, any other idea?
Sir, it is used to produce the heat and energy.
Okay, all are energy related. Fuel is for energy production. Heat also energy. Heat and energy, as you are saying, heat is one form of energy. Energy is expressed in terms of different forms. Heat energy, mechanical energy, kinetic energy, potential energy, all are there. Okay, mainly fuel is used for energy production. Other than this, any information do you have, or what comes into your mind? But only one aspect you know about the fuel. What else do you know about fuel?
Fuel is a chemical
Very good.
made up of
Yeah, made up of
hydrocarbons.
hydrocarbons. Very good. Very good. Fuel is a chemical species made up of hydrocarbons. Let me say, any as you all completed your 12th and schooling, you know about better about the periodic table. You have many chemical species in the universe. Many chemical species are there in the universe. Out of all those chemical species, we usually use hydrogen and carbon, H and C. Hydrogen and carbon, these are the only materials widely used for energy production. Other than this, we use nuclear fuels, uranium, thorium, these are there, but we use at lesser quantities. Rarely we use for less applications, less number of applications we use. But in our usual daily life, we see chemical species are consisting of hydrogen and carbon. Carbon and hydrogen are the only energy producing elements. So fuel is having hydrocarbons. And we human beings also consume carbon and hydrogen. As I am speaking, for speaking, I need energy. That energy is being coming from the carbon and hydrates in different way. I'm giving fuel input to my car, my vehicle, that is called hydrocarbon, which is consisting of hydrogen and carbon. The same thing we are also consuming. Human beings are also consuming carbon and hydrogen are energy producing elements. As fuel, as the vehicle is consuming hydrocarbons and inhaling the air, taking air is inhaling from the atmosphere, and hydrocarbon is being burned, or technically we say combusted. Hydrocarbons are combusted in the vehicle, in the engine, and energy is being producing. That energy, that mechanical or rotational energy is being used for movement of the vehicle in any transportation mode. In the same way, being human beings are also consuming carbohydrates, carbon and hydrogen, and we are inhaling the air with our nose, and air plus carbohydrates are being digested. Digestion is a medical term. We say combustion is the engineering term. Oxidation of carbohydrates are being happening inside our stomach, which produces the energy. That energy is being used for any activity. If you want to understand any system in the universe, try to look at the human body. Human body is the best example for all kinds of the systems that are being developed in the universe. human beings are also a kind of internal combustion engines. Human beings are also kind of the vehicle. We are also taking fuel as well as the oxygen, producing energy, and we are moving. We are carrying certain weight as yeah. Okay. So now, if you have any new fuel in your hand, how can you say that this fuel is being used for a petrol vehicle, and this fuel is being used for diesel vehicle? You are not mentioned any different kinds of fuels. When I was asked, what do you know about the fuel? Usually you can mention fuels are of different types, petrol, diesel, biodiesel, or different kinds of fuels that you are come across. If you are inventing any new fuel for 21st century, so on what basis you can decide that these are the this fuel is employable for different this kind of vehicle? Do you have any idea about this question?
Basically, it must be cheap so that and economically purchasable.
Very good.
Secondly, it should be environment friendly. Uh,
Okay.
and mostly possibly it's easy to carry on a vehicle. That is the most important criteria.
Okay. So usually you hear about petrol and diesel, and most probably every one of you might heard about the biodiesel as well. Biodiesel as well. Other than these three, any other fuel have you heard about? Diesel, petrol, and biodiesel.
Ethanol
Yeah,
and
any other?
methanol.
Methanol?
And ethanol.
Very good. Methanol and ethanol. Right now in India, are ethanol and methanol being used for transportation? Do we use ethanol or methanol for our transportation purpose right now, currently?
Yes, yes, sir. We are using a blend of petrol and alcoholic fuels.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So as you all getting the petrol in petrol filling stations, you are not getting pure petrol, pure gasoline you are not getting. That is a blended. As per the biofuel policy, and as per the ethanol blending program laid in 2003 in India, ethanol blending program, we say usually EBP, and biofuel policy, gasoline or petrol is being blended about 5%. 5%. In cities, metropolitan cities, you may get E5. E5, capital E5. E represents ethanol. 5% of ethanol is being blended with the 95. With the petrol, 95% petrol and 5% ethanol. If you are in any remote places, maybe in towns, small towns, or in villages, you may not be getting E5, but maybe 2% or 1% of ethanol is being blended in the petrol. So you may be getting E2 or E1 or E1.5. However, for the target for the EBP program, they kept the target to blend 20% of ethanol in the petrol, 20% of ethanol in the petrol, which is E20 is the target. According to the biofuel policy laid in 2007, again, many amendments have been happened even last year as well. The biofuel policy has been amended by the Union Government of India. So according to that, 20% of biodiesel can be blended. Many of the states, biodiesel blended diesel is available. In some states, pure biodiesel is also being available. In Maharashtra, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, in many states, biodiesel is being available at the petrol filling stations, petrol filling stations. Now, other than this, so my question, other than this, if you have any fuel, any new fuel, so how you can say that this fuel can be used in petrol vehicles, this fuel can be used in diesel vehicles. So let me say internal combustion engines, whatever the vehicle that you are using, all vehicles are consisting of the driven by the engines, internal combustion engines we say, because the combustion of fuel is being taking place inside the system, so we say internal combustion engines. As you all aware that boilers where combustion is being occurring outside of the system, so boiler is considered as the external combustion engines, whereas internal combustion engines, in an internal combustion engine, combustion happens inside the system. So in internal combustion engines, IC engines are broadly classified into two: compression ignition engines, or we say diesel engines, and second is spark ignition engines or petrol engines. Spark ignition engines are petrol engines. Compression ignition engines are diesel engines. Now I have a new innovative fuel. I have developed a new fuel. Now I need to use this fuel in any kind of the vehicle, either it is diesel engine vehicle or it is in petrol fueled vehicle. How can I decide that this fuel can be employed in particular vehicle? Is there any criteria? One of you has mentioned economic criteria. Okay. Any other criteria? Economic criteria may not be right answer. Any other criteria?
Calorific values stored in the fuel.
Pardon?
Calorific value of the fuel.
Calorific value of the fuel means if I have high calorific value, then where that fuel can be used, whether it is petrol vehicles or it is diesel vehicles.
Higher calorific value can be used in petrol vehicles.
Okay. Let me say petrol and diesel, both fuels are having more or less similar calorific values, about 40 to 43 megajoule per kg. 40 to 43 megajoule per kg. If you burn 1 kg of fuel, maybe petrol or diesel, it releases 40 megajoules of energy, or 41, 42, 43, depend upon the type of fuel available. So calorific value is not the criteria for employing a particular fuel in the, say you have taken one any raw material and then you have produced one biodiesel, one kind of biodiesel or one kind of fuel. You didn't name, the fuel name is some X. Now I need to use this X type of fuel in particular vehicle. So for that, usually we need to check the major criteria, important criteria for employing any kind of fuel, maybe it is new or old, is C10 number and octane number. We need to find out the C10 number of the fuel, octane number of the fuel. As time is limited, I'm not explaining what C10 number, what octane number is, octane rating or C10 rating. You can search through web, you can get it the details, or you can even get in your regular courses as well. So now let me say, if any fuel is having higher octane rating or higher octane number, that fuel is best employable for petrol or spark ignition engines, petrol based vehicles, spark ignition based SI engines. If any fuel is having higher C10 number, then that fuel could be employed in diesel engines, or compression ignition engines, Now I have innovated a fuel from a new source, maybe some agriculture waste, or maybe kitchen waste, or maybe municipal solid waste, or maybe the waste obtained from the sea coastal. So from that I have derived one fuel. Now that fuel has to be tested whether its octane number is higher or its C10 number is higher. If the fuel is having higher C10 number, so that fuel is useful in diesel engines. If the fuel is having higher octane number, that fuel is having can be used in petrol engine. That is the major criteria. Along with other than this, calorific value or heating value and its density, viscosity, and all other physiochemical properties can be assessed after that. Employing deciding criteria for any new fuel is the majorly octane rating and C10 rating. So let us go that the fuels which are being used for 21st century of all transportation modes including train, air, water transportation modes. As you all mentioned, biofuels, ethanol, biodiesel, methanol. Biodiesel, this term you are hearing since 2003, 2000 onwards. In the 20th century, these fuels, 21st century, these fuels have been utilized. Early part of 21st century, biodiesel development, ethanol development, and testing of biodiesel in the engine. If I use biodiesel, what kind of modifications need to be carried out in the engine configuration or in the vehicle. So all these kinds of tests have been carried out and finally decided that 20% of biodiesel is being used in engines, 20% of ethanol is being used in petrol engines. So ethanol is being used in petrol engines, petrol vehicles, because its octane rating is high. The octane number of currently available petrol in petrol filling stations is around 80 to 85. C10 number of currently available diesel, Euro 4 diesel, right now we are getting, that diesel C10 number is around 50 to 55. In cities, metropolitan cities, you will get high quality fuel, which is having 55 to 56 C10 number, and petrol octane rating is 80 to 85. If the fuel is being used in remote places or in villages or in normal greener areas, then their quality of the fuel may be little lesser. Other than these fuels, now here let me ask one more question. Why 20% of blending is being limited in Indian context? Why can't you use more than 20% of either diesel, ethanol or biodiesel? Do you have any idea? As I mentioned, E5 to E20. 5% of ethanol, 20% of ethanol is being allowed as per Union Government of Indian regulations. Similarly with the biodiesel case. Beyond 20%, what happens? Okay. So if you, as per the test R&D conducted with the new alternative fuels, ethanol, biodiesel, 20% of the ethanol blending in petrol is favorable for engine operation. If you go beyond this percentage, then engine components has to be changed. Engine components has to be changed. Original engine manufacturers, they said that we can't change our entire engine manufacturing line. If you change the fuel, definitely engine also has to be changed. So you can use the existing engine configuration, engine manufacturing line for the employment of 20% of ethanol or 20% blended biodiesel. So based on that reason, 20% is the maximum limit that can be blended in diesel or ethanol in petrol. Other than this, methanol is not being officially allowed as of now. Methanol is still under search, under commercialization process. We can use methanol also in engines However, if I compare ethanol and methanol, ethanol is the best fuel based on the heating value and based on the other properties, other physiochemical properties related to the engine characteristics, engine behavior. Other than this, gaseous fuels can also be used, are already being used. In 2003, Supreme Court, or you have heard about the NGT, National Green Tribunal. In 2003 itself, Supreme Court had laid the regulations and put up the limitation on utilization of diesel-fueled vehicles in Delhi, capital city of India. All diesel-fueled transportation, maybe heavy transportation buses have been banned in 2003. In 2003 itself, CNG is being introduced for transportation, for public transportation sector. Slowly, this natural gas is being employed in other parts of the country as well. In many, currently in many places, we are using natural gas. Other than natural gas, hydrogen could also be used for transportation sector. So among out of all these fuels, liquid fuels utilization is very much established in transportation sector, whereas gas utilization in transportation sector is still under matured stage. It is not mature. CNG is not being widely used in every part of the India. Similarly, hydrogen facility, hydrogen infrastructure is not at all being developed. You can observe that biodiesel filling stations are many places are available for two-wheeler or for four-wheeler as well as for other applications. Even in Indian Railways, biodiesel has been introduced. Biodiesel is being used in Indian Railways for running the diesel locomotives. We use biodiesel. These are the biodiesel fueled diesel locomotives used for the freight transportation, for goods transportation, as well as for passenger transportation. Different kinds of resources can be used. Raw materials can be used for biodiesel. As the time is limited, so I am escaping this slide. Natural gas, compressed natural gas is being used for the road transportation sector, may be used for the buses, cars. Widely, you can see CNG driven autos, CNG driven cars, CNG driven buses, CNG fueled train, which was introduced. This was introduced in 2015 by Sri Suresh Prabhu Chawla, that time railway minister. Natural gas can also be used in different forms. Liquefied natural gas can also be used, or natural gas which is being generated by using renewable sources, which is called RNG, renewable natural gas. Liquefied natural gas can also be used. Natural gas being pumped through the at low pressures, which is known as PNG, piped natural gas, is widely used for cooking applications. Many metropolitan cities are being developed the infrastructure of PNG, which is used for the cooking purpose. The same natural gas means CH4, methane. Methane can be used for the transportation sector. This technology is already mature. Utilization of natural gas for all kinds of applications is already being matured. It can be used for aviation application as well. Now the term called hydrogen. If you observe this graph with focused way, the energy content laid in the different fuels. Here you can see with burning of the wood, you will get 1 kg burning 1 kg of wood will produce about 17 megajoules of energy. If you produce diesel, if you burn 1 kg of diesel, you will get around 45 megajoules of energy. Similarly, petrol, 45 megajoules of energy you will get. If you see in this figure, in this graph, one thing can meticulously observe that hydrogen, which is having high energy content. Out of all these fuels, hydrogen is having high energy content. Roughly, I could say hydrogen is having 3 times higher energy content than the diesel or conventional available fuels. It is producing 140 megajoules energy as compared to the diesel and gasoline. So in the 21st century, I expect that hydrogen will take the lead in terms of efficiency. If you are using the high energy content fuel for your transportation sector, definitely energy efficiency of your transportation systems would enhance significantly. Not only transportation efficiency, energy efficiency enhancement, we can also address on pollution. Nowadays, pollution is a biggest thrust area where many kinds of limitations are being laid down. As you all aware that during COVID-19, pollution levels are almost negligible. In Delhi last year, in the same during this winter season, last year it was horrible. Smog, smoke associated moisture called a smoke is a dangerous level for breathing, for human sustainability, for biodiversity, for healthy biodiversity, we need to concentrate on the environment as well. So in terms of environmental pollution, you can think hydrogen is the best fuel. As you all aware that hydrogen is the single element hydrogen, H2. If I burn the natural gas, methane, I will get carbon dioxide as well as the water as the outputs. Similarly, if I burn the diesel, if I combust the diesel or gasoline, which is termed as 13 carbon molecules and 28 hydrogen molecules, it also releases the carbon dioxide and water. Here, one carbon molecule is there, it produces 1 mole of carbon dioxide. If I increase the moles of carbon, it increases the moles of carbon dioxide, 13 moles of carbon dioxide. Similarly, if I use petrol, the same scenario. So whatever carbon, hydrogen based fuels, hydrocarbon based fuels are being employed in transportation sector, definitely you are ended with the emissions. Here I have mentioned only carbon dioxide as the emission. Other than this carbon dioxide, you will be getting all other pollutants like smoke or particulate matter or oxides of nitrogen, carbon monoxide and unburned hydrocarbon. These are all different kinds of pollutants that release once the hydrocarbon fuels burn. All smoke or particulate matter, carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, all these are just because of the carbon, just because of carbon in the fuel. So the main idea, main motto is, if I remove the carbon from the fuel, if I remove the carbon molecule or carbon content in the fuel, definitely there is no question of carbon dioxide, there is no question of carbon monoxide, there is no question of polluting particulate matter or smoke emissions, which is the major concern in Delhi and all other kinds of metropolitan cities. All diesel vehicles produce lot amount of particulate matter or a smoke. You see a black smoke from the vehicles, which is significant. Now in cities, if you wear white shirt and if you travel for 10 kilometers, your white shirt may get color of white shirt may get changed. This is the scenario nowadays you are observing. For future generations, we cannot provide a cleaner environment. So energy efficiency is one major concern and pollution is another major concern. If you want to handle these both higher energy efficiency, higher performance and lower pollutions, these two solutions can be addressed with the only fuel which is hydrogen. So what I expect, hydrogen is the only fuel which is going to be captured in future, maybe in 21st century. Definitely challenges are there. Definitely challenges with hydrogen production, challenges with the hydrogen storage, challenges with the safety aspects of the hydrogen, handling aspects of the hydrogen, and challenges with the utilization. How efficiently hydrogen is being used, how safely you can use hydrogen, how economically you can produce the hydrogen. All these are the challenges are there. Once if you address all these challenges, your efficiency, your environment are clear. Your efficiency of the system, your system efficiency is higher, almost 3 times higher, and you are using the system with clean environment without spoiling the damage, without damaging the environment. You can use hydrogen for all your systems, transportation systems. So 21st century may be hydrogen economy. Hydrogen especially if you see that Indian economy is a diesel-driven economy. Major we use a diesel, which is 6 times higher than the petrol. If we see another USA, where diesel is being used lesser quantity as compared to the gasoline. 2.2 liters are gasoline, 1 liter is the diesel. In India, we use 6 liters of diesel for 1 liter of petrol. We see in India, most buses, trucks, all mass transportation mode are diesel-driven vehicles, diesel-fueled vehicles. So if you target this diesel, replacing diesel with hydrogen, definitely you are achieving the high energy efficiency and lower pollutant environment. This is the experimental setup that I have done in IIT Delhi, where I have used the hydrogen. This red color cylinder is the hydrogen. Hydrogen has been used in the engine. This is the engine, internal combustion engine. Hydrogen has been implemented in the engine in different ways, maybe in pure or in dual fuel mode. Another way of using hydrogen in engines is a fuel cell technology. Fuel cell technology. You might be heard about the electrolysis process, which is basically used for producing the hydrogen by using the electricity. If I supply the electricity to the electrodes, which are kept in the water, that water will split into hydrogen and oxygen that produces the hydrogen. So reverse process of the electrolysis is fuel cell technology. If I use fuel cell hydrogen in the fuel cell mode, definitely you can target the higher efficiencies and I can target the emissions as well. Here, major benefits have been mentioned in this slide with the fuel cell technology. Fuel cell technology are also being implemented in four-wheel drives, four-wheel automotive segment. In 2011 or 2013, Auto Expo in Delhi, Pragati Maidan. In Pragati Maidan, every year Auto Expo is being the usual practice, where every vehicle manufacturer, every engine manufacturer across the globe and especially in India, they come and they display their new products. In 2013, we have launched the hydrogen fueled autos, three-wheeler autos in 2013, which were developed from the IIT Delhi. in our laboratory, Center for Energy Studies, in collaboration with the Mahindra and Mahindra. Latter hydrogen fueled bus, which is having fuel cell technology, are also being launched in the Auto Expo. Even you can see fuel cell driven or IC engine based hydrogen fueled used four-wheeler mini truck are also being under trial in along with the Mahindra and Mahindra. So if I use hydrogen in IC engines or in fuel cell, I have two options. I can use IC engines and I can use fuel cell. Fuel cell technology is entirely different, which produces the higher efficiency, which produces the lower emissions. So in order to attain still higher efficiencies and lower emissions, I can opt the fuel cell technology. As time is limited, I will move little faster. So if I use the hydrogen or any fuel in internal combustion engine, as the figure is being represented here, the fuel is having chemical energy, as it is the chemical in nature. That chemical energy is being converted into electrical energy. Chemical energy is being converted into heat energy by burning, by combusting, and that heat energy is being again converted into the rotational energy by which vehicle moves, or mechanical energy. So this is the conventional internal combustion engine based pathway, energy conversion pathway, from chemical to heat and heat to mechanical energy. So with this conversion way, you will get the energy efficiency around 25, 30, 35. Now recently with advanced technologies, you will get the efficiency about 40%, 40, 41, 42%, beyond which you cannot attain the energy efficiency with internal combustion engines. Any car, any truck or any bus you take, internal combustion engine vehicles, even with the employment of hydrogen fuel, you will get the maximum efficiency of 40 to 42%. However, in order to get higher efficiencies, you can use fuel cell. Fuel cell is the technology where chemical energy is being directly converted into the electrical energy. Fuel cell technology, in which you can attain the efficiencies about 60%, 70%, 80%. Theoretically, you can get the efficiencies beyond 60%. In practice, you may get the efficiencies about 55 to 60% with the using of fuel cell technologies. So we are working on fuel cell technology to implement fuel cell technology even for Indian Railways in different applications, not only for pure transportation, for electricity generation, for running the fans and then lighting in the coaches. We are working on the fuel cell technology for Indian railway sector. So these fuel cell technologies are also being used in different applications. I will explain that in further slides. So this hydrogen tanks can be fitted in the railway coach, and this hydrogen gas can be supplied to the fuel cell, and from where from the fuel cell electrical energy is being produced. That energy is being used for driving the coach. These are the hydrogen fuel cell based train transportation modes. Fuel cell can also be implemented easily for air transportation mode. This is the flight in which fuel cells have been implemented for transportation. This is the structure. Here a fuel cell are being implemented. That fuel cell converts the energy and that can be used for driving the turbofans, which propels creates the thrust, because of which the flight moves forward. So for fuel cell technology is still under development stage. It is not mature. For fuel cell technology to be mature, you need to focus about the economical production of the hydrogen and proper infrastructure for storage and transportation and for supply, storage, transportation, and delivery of the hydrogen and proper safety aspects for hydrogen utilization. If these three things have been addressed, definitely hydrogen is the leading fuel in 21st century. Fuel cell technology are being under research even for aviation fuels. As I mentioned, fuel cell technology can also be used for the marine transportation mode. Fuel cell based two-wheeler. Fuel cell can also be used for small scale electrical power production, power generation, where I have also worked in IIT Delhi. By using the hydrogen, you can produce the electrical energy. So this is having a peculiar advantage. See, in offices, in hotels, in all kinds of service sectors, even in remote places, you can see the towers, mobile towers or other kind of towers. In military sector, they use the towers, radars, they use for them, for operating all the equipment, they need the energy, electrical energy, where the transportation is difficult, transportation of the fuel is difficult, availability of the fuel is difficult. I was there in hill areas. You cannot transport the diesel with higher amounts, huge amounts of transportation of fuel, liquid fuels is difficult. So in the situations, the fuel cell or hydrogen utilization is the best method that can be employed. Hydrogen can be produced by using easier methods, by using electrolysis or by using the different hydrocarbon fuels. Hydrogen can be produced by using the waste, any kind of organic waste. If you produce the hydrogen, the same hydrogen can be used for electrical power production by ICE technology, internal combustion engine technology, or fuel cell technology. So many kinds of applications are being under development. So even in industry, fuel cell based forklifts, fuel cell based weight lifters, fuel cell based proclaimers are being under use in industry sector also, where here also energy efficiency and pollution are the major thrust. Because of these two major criteria, the industry and the transportation is moving towards the fuel cell or hydrogen based economy. As I mentioned, hydrogen can be produced by various kinds of resources from the waste material and from the water, which is available plenty, can be produced. Other than conventional fuel cell based vehicles, the hydrogen can also be used in hybrid mode. You can use ICE technology along with the fuel cell. Both can be used, or you can simply use electric vehicles along with the ICE, hydrogen based ICE technology. As you might have heard about the electric vehicles, in India also much discussion is being going on the implementation of the electric vehicles. So though still challenges are there for EV infrastructure development, electric vehicle infrastructure development and production and utilization. Thank you. I would like to, as time is up, my time is up. So I would like to close here. I would like to stop here. If you have any queries, let me take this time for answering your queries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
If any of the students have any queries or doubts or questions related to the topic, or if you have any other questions related to the transportation fuels, you can freely ask to the sir. We'll try to address your query and try to solve it.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, please.
Sir, we were talking about fuels like ethanol also. So can we use ethyl alcohol as a fuel with petrol?
Yeah, can we use?
Sir, and the ratio of I had heard about the ratio was 60 and 40, 60% petrol and 40% ethyl alcohol, and it had been experimented by a person named Dr. Dixit. So I would like to try this in my last year project also.
Yeah, you can use for research point of view. Even I have used 80% of ethanol also. Even I have used the biodiesel at higher scale, not only 20%. We have run with the pure biodiesel, the engine. For research point of view, any amount of percentage can be used. If the term calls commercialization. If you want to use at commercial level, then you need to consider the economical aspects. You need to consider about the oil availability. You need to consider about the pollution. So by considering all these aspects in India, 20% of diesel or 20% of ethanol is being officially allowed. If you use 20%, then there is no effect on the engine components. There is no effect on the major effect on the performance of the engine, performance durability, life of the engine. There is no effect on life of the engine. It sustains for 10 years or it sustains for 15 years as per the design of the engine. And there is no effect on the pollution. There is no major harm on the pollution with this limited amount of fuel utilization or fuel blending. If you go beyond this, definitely as biodiesel is having high amount of viscosity and density, I need to change the engine fuel injectors or other components. All alcohols are having higher octane rating, can be used, can be blended with the petrol. You can blend any amount of alcohol along with the petrol.
Thank you, sir.
Good. Any other query?
So you discussed about usage of hydrogen in Indian Railways.
Yeah.
So is it in development stage or they have finalized it and doing the practicals on it?
Research, now research, under research stage. See, Indian Railways have been successfully implemented solar technologies. You can see some coaches have been integrated with the rooftop solar PV cells, PV modules for supplying the electricity to the coach fans as well as lighting system. The same as you heard about the bio toilets. Now every railway unit, train is attached with the bio toilets. Now from bio toilets you produce the methane and other CO2. We are trying to use those gases and convert into electricity for the coach utilization.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Any other questions from your side, students? Okay. I would like to invite Professor Janbak sir for giving a vote of thanks to Dr. Chintala sir.
Hello, Vinay sir. Am I audible? Yes.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you so much for providing me this opportunity. I especially want to first of all thanks our speaker, who provided this wonderful webinar on the fuel cell and the transportation, which will be very helpful to our students in the upcoming future. I especially want to thank our principal sir, Dr. Avinash Chaudhary sir, for his support for providing us this platform to do this webinar. Also, our chairman sir, Pushparaj sir, Deepika ma'am, and Mayank sir from all the department who had given us this opportunity to conduct this webinar, which will be helpful to the students in the final year as a project also. We will like to thank you, Venkatesh Chintala sir, Dr. sir, for this webinar, and we wish that in the future, if the student come up with any kind of project, we will really appreciate your help in this particular sector. So please, sir, if possible, help us in this sector. Thank you so much, sir. Finally, I want to thank the Professor Vinay Kathod, sir, who proposed this webinar and organized this. His hard work is very much a blessing to our institute. And we finally, I want to say thank you, sir, for this. And on the behalf of our institute, we will welcome you once in future, anytime once again. We hope to see you once, sir. Thank you, sir. Over to you, Inay, sir.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah, same to you, sir.
Yeah. Can I leave now?
So surely you can, we can conclude this session. Thank you very much once again for giving your precious time to the institute.